Dolphins number one, baby.
Up, baby.
Dolphins number
Up.
one.
I swear, if a certain quarterback is mentioned in the comments, I got my beers ready. I'm gonna crack it open.
Or is it the Serbian kid?
Serbian kid,
This looks done. Oh my God, it looks fantastic.
I hate you so much. No, give me the man. Gotta be the man. Woo! I'm the man. I said it, and it's reality. All right.
Congratulations.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On the Clock. We start always for the first 30 minutes of Dolphins Draft Talk. I'm your host, Bobby Finstalk, joined by always Michael Vogel and the one and only Evan Posner. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
Hey,
How are you,
guys.
Bobby?
Happy to be here. It's you Americans. It's minus 17 up here in Canada right now. You're scraping the snow out of the inside of your car.
So there's really nothing you'd rather be doing than this.
Nothing
right?
better to be doing than
You don't wanna
warming
be
up with
outside.
Miami Dolphins fans. I'm already thinking about September. I'm already
There
have
you
those vibes of being there in
There
September.
you go.
It's a good time to be a fan in regards of staff. There was a little bit of a tease there. We talked about Evan and I had our show Breaking News when it became when it was reported that Fangio had agreed to a deal with Miami, 3 years, 4-year option. Everybody was reacting. We had a good show. And then later in the week, it started being, wait a second, maybe not so fast. And then Dolphin fans started getting a little crazy again. And what's happening? Why are we always the ones who get, jived? And this later in the week, Thursday, or was it yesterday? All went well. The Dolphins, Adam Schefter reported it, and everybody feels better again. And so the Dolphins now have Vic Fangio. So, Michael, you haven't had a chance to react live to the hire. Tell us your reaction when the Dolphins officially, or Fangio officially agreed to be the Dolphins' new defensive coordinator.
I was excited. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a great compliment to what McDaniels is doing with the offense. Hopefully you don't have to score 31 points every week. I figure if we had Fangio last year, how many more games would we have won? I feel like we sweep the Bills. I don't think they put 31 points on Fangio's defense in the playoffs either. So, you just talk about the scheme that he brings and not blitzing and just making things, more difficult in the pass game and having to sort the run. I'm excited about this hire.
It's a very exciting. So you think it makes that big a difference if he was the defensive coordinator last year? You think it makes that big a difference that they would have swept the Bills?
I mean, I just don't see the Bills putting up 31 points in two games. In the second game and then the playoff game, they both put 31 points up. I mean, maybe they still win the playoff game, but I don't think, I just think that it's a chess and checkers matchup, and I feel like he would have had something.
Gotcha.
Had some form.
Awesome. Well, let me do it first off. Thank everybody. Chalk Van Straw, Steve Malloy, John, Ben, Papa Hog, everyone tuning in, whether you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Smash that like and subscribe button. You're watching the Dolphins Draft Talk show and On the Clock on the Fids Talk Sports Network. We come to you every Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern talking draft. All right, so, Evan, we know how you felt about this hire when we did it, when we talked about it on Sunday last week. Okay, it's a week later, but now, how do you think, now that it's official, how do you think this could affect how Miami addresses the defense this coming off season?
I really think that it does sort of change the way the defense is going to be focused on, because the way that the scheme of Vic Fangio, it's all over the NFL. Vic Fangio's scheme is all over the NFL. People are copying how he's designed his defense. He's one of the most brilliant minds in the NFL when it comes to defense and what he's been able to do over his career. It's just that it's going to put a lot more it's going to put a lot less pressure on our star players. So someone like Xavier Howard is going to truly benefit from this. The two safety look, Javon Holland is going to be a top 2, top 3 safety next year, and I do think it changes the way we're going to go into free agency a little bit and going into the draft, because right now for me, I think they need another safety and they need a solid inside linebacker, and as long as they keep the other elements there within his scheme, he knows what he has there. He knows who he has on his defense between Chubb, or healthy Ogba, Phillips, Sealer, Wilkins, Howard. And don't be surprised, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, if Fangio might find a reason to keep Byron Jones. Even though you might want to save $13 million on the cap, for his scheme, his setup, he may think that Byron Jones is someone that he needs to have on his staff and may choose him over Nick Needham. We don't know. But the one thing I do know is, and I will attest to what Michael said, we would have won a couple more games with Vic Fangio's defense, because if you think about it, do you remember that play where we had 4 players on 3rd and 18 lined up against the goal line? How many times, Bobby, have we spoken during the course of the season and on the post-game show how I was losing my mind on these 3rd and 17 and 3rd and 18s? We were on zero blitz, 3rd and 18 and 3rd and 17 on the Josh Allens and the Aaron Rodgers of the world. These are not. There's no way that would ever have happened in Vic Fangio land. So those were where we got crushed. We could not get off the field on 3rd down. On a Vic Fangio type of defense, we're getting off the field on 3rd down a lot more, because the zone coverage and the cover 6 and the cover 3 and the cover 4, it's going to be so much better for the skill set. And for someone like X who's getting a bit older, Holland, we know what kind of a star he is. I also don't be surprised if they go get a safety and they put Brandon Jones as a linebacker, because that's the kind of player that he is. He doesn't necessarily fit the scheme of the too high safety look. He might be more of a linebacker. He might be moving back and forth. For me, the only thing that annoyed me about this was the way it was handled, because I don't think it necessarily was Vic Fangio. I think this was more an agent thing where he was just trying to maybe get more for his client. Maybe he didn't communicate with the client. The client said, go get the deal done. But then there was whispers about D'Amico Ryans. There was whispers about Sean Payton, and maybe he had second thoughts. You don't know. In the end, until pen's to paper, it's talked about, but it happens. It's life. The only thing that frustrated me this week is how we were all how Twitter and the world was freaking out about the Miami Dolphins. Everyone was Googling Vic Fangio. In the end, give it a chance to happen. Give it a chance to play out. If he didn't work out, there were did have a plan B and a plan C, because those other 2 players weren't being talked about, in Desai and Richard, who they were interested in. In the end, it was going to work itself out. The Vic Fangio defense, like I said, you and I wanted a veteran head coach. Well, we got a veteran DC who literally Mike McDaniel is going to rely on to run this defense. And let's not forget about the overall. We're talking about the defense. They dropped. We'll talk about it after. You didn't put it as the show, but I do want to talk about what they did on the offensive line before we get into the draft talk. On Matt Applebaum, I want to know what we want. I want to talk about that with you 3 as well, unless you want to save it for tomorrow and talk today. But no, overall, Vic Fangio, I can't wait for the press conference to see Mike McDaniel and Vic Fangio sitting there together. Is going to be. I'm looking forward to that in about 12 to 13 days.
I have a question, Evan. Do you think or even Bobby, do you think having Fangio on staff will help McDaniel be a better head coach?
Oh yeah,
that's without
a doubt.
I said this on the last post game show, and Bobby, I said this when Mike McDaniel at the end of the game. He had a rough game in LA, or he had a rough game against the Packers with Tua going out. Who does he go to on his coaching staff who's had experience to vent, to throw, and to calm him, to be able to handle that? John Embry? Who's he going to? He's not going to Josh Boyer. He's not going to Chris Greer. Chris Greer is probably on the golf course after the game. He doesn't even faze the guy. It's honestly, for me, he needs that. He needs a hard-nosed coach. The one thing that's amazing about what we're looking for into the Super Bowl is that we need someone who's a bit of an a-hole. We need people who are strong-minded. Trust me, you don't think that Jonathan Gannon has learned a ton this year from Vic Fangio? You need that person there. You need someone to guide them. The same way where this, people always talk about it. Tua's growth in the offense. You know who sits in a lot of these quarterback meetings? Dan Marino. Yeah. You need experienced ear. You need someone there who will help you. And Mike McDaniel needs that ear. He needs that ear. I said this a couple years ago on the Tampa when they won. They had Monty Kiffin, or when you need somebody there who has experience, who's been through the trenches. This is the Sean McVay formula. He had Wade Phillips. Now Mike McDaniel has Vic Fangio. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, for me, it's you're having and nothing to take away from McDaniel, but you're having another head coach basically on your football team. You know, the money they gave him, the contract that they gave him in regards of years, the respect he's going to command, not just from the defense, but from the offense, from Mike McDaniel. He's gonna have a lot to say about how this team goes forward. So I think it's going to be a huge help to McDaniel as McDaniel continues to mature as a head coach. You gotta pull this up here. Can't believe that I agree with you, Evan. Oh my!
So am I invited back to Real Talk Fins Talk on Tuesday, Steve? I'm not a regular. Just like put bandwagon on pause because I'm loving this draft talk show and hanging out with Mike and Stager and Bobby. It's a blast.
Concrete, thank you for tuning in, man. You're absolutely right. We both agree with you. Vic will be a big boost for this entire organization. You know, I just think the respect he's going to command is going to benefit everybody on the roster.
Can I give a good perspective?
Or on the staff.
It's the same thing as a quarterback, right? It's the same thing. If Tua goes down, we need someone there who's experienced, who we know can take the ball with this offense in this window to win. If McDaniel struggles, Fangio is there. Like you're not having to go search for someone. There's an ear there. It makes the biggest difference in the world. It just makes the biggest difference in the world.
So let's talk about the difference it's going to do, and like we brought up, how Miami addresses their defense. We know what the team needs are. We've discussed it. Everybody may have a slightly different opinion, but let's look at the team needs that we had listed at the first episode. We got right tackle, left guard, linebacker, tight end, corner, running back. So Fangio now, with his imprint on the defense, we do have linebacker and corner there. But Michael,
is
there any other need on defense that you could see, or any kind of now becomes a need because Fangio's there? Is there anything that I'm missing now? Now that we have Fangio, what becomes a need on defense besides corner and linebacker?
Well, I mean, I obviously I think those two are the two biggest needs. You know, I always feel like if you can get another, rush end just for depth wise and just keep those guys fresh rolling in, that's kind of my opinion as far as like, you know, how he goes with that. My question is, do you feel like with the current linebacker core that he can tweak them to be more successful, or do you just think that they're?
I have faith in him as a coach that he could bring out the best in what we have right now. But I do think that the Dolphins will address the defense, especially linebacker. And, you know, we're going to talk about linebacker today. We're talking about the draft. There are some very good players. I don't think it's that deep, but I think there's some very decent, good handful of good draft prospects in linebacker position that Miami could take. I'd rather them go the free agency route with a veteran presence, but he might see a young guy, like a young guy. Well, you know, special teams.
No. But I'm thinking for linebacker, they need to get someone who can try to guide Tyndall. They need to get a stud inside linebacker. For this scheme, they need a stud inside linebacker who can spy.
Well, maybe they could find one in the draft at number 51. We're going to talk about that.
They better be a star. They better be ready to play game one.
Well, what do you think about Levante David?
I know. I was listening. There's Levante David. There's what's his name?
Deion Jones.
There's Deion Jones. There's what's his name? There was one other one that I was interested in. I'm just bringing
Tremaine Edmonds.
There's Tremaine Edmonds. There was one more.
TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds.
There's Devin Bush. There's Devin Bush from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So there's Perryman. But for me, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. I think they need to go get like a Poyer or Jimmy Ward. They need to go get another compliment safety.
Yeah, I agree.
Brandon Jones is going to be shifted to linebacker a little bit. With that skill set and that scheme, I don't think necessarily fits the safety role he's been playing in the Vic Fangio defense. I think the two safety look. It's Vic Fangio like the recipe. Like that's his recipe.
So you guys both would rather Miami to go the free agent route rather than go draft with linebacker.
unless it's a stud linebacker that's fallen.
I mean,
On the
I think
inside. Outside linebacker, go draft. Inside linebacker,
Okay.
I want a thumper. We're still looking for that Zach. We're still looking for that Zach Thomas. We need a Levante David. We need a Devin. We need a Devin Bush. We need a DeAndre. We need an experienced linebacker there. Jerome Baker is not the answer, and Landon Roberts is only good at the run. He cannot do anything in coverage. We need a linebacker who is good in coverage. Duke Riley ain't gonna handle it.
Everyone
I'm
tuning
doing
in.
both.
There you go.
I would do both.
Ben Straw says do both. So guys, I'm gonna everybody in the comments, put it down there. Would you rather Miami do both, get a linebacker free agency and the draft, or would you rather them go get linebacker in the draft or free agency? Write that. Put your comment. Maybe if you got the draft, what player are you looking at? While you're doing that, let's help you with knowing what players are maybe available at that pick. Michael, we're gonna go ahead and start this off, my man. So let's talk about some of this is your top 5 linebackers. There wasn't much different. So I said, what the heck? I'm not going to do a bunch of graphics. Yeah. I'm going to roll with you. We'll start this off. Yeah. Let's start off with your number 1 guy, Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. 73 total tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, stud at linebacker. Talk about him.
This dude is smooth. I just feel like he can get up and down the field. He can move side to side really well. When the pockets collapsing down, he's able to knife in there, making plays behind the behind the line of scrimmage. He's decent in coverage. He brings a thumper mentality. I just feel like he was. I mean, I'm watching a video of him now. He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. I don't think that he'll be around at 51. That's for sure.
That was my
but
next question.
He's very smooth. He's very smooth. I like kind of just his overall game, his quickness. Able to bring down tacklers in the open field. That's why he's my number 1.
Let's move to number 2. DeMarvion Overshawn, linebacker out of Texas. 95 total tackles, 4 sacks, no fumbles or interceptions. Talk about this guy.
I put the tape on him because he was wearing the number 0, but this dude looked massive. When I looked at some of his stats, 6'4" at an inside linebacker, 6'4", 220. Span is 78 and 3/8. Hopefully wreaking havoc down there in the Senior Bowl. I haven't actually seen much of the bowl games yet. And he was all over the field, able to break up passes, being able to run with, covering the middle of the field. Had 67 tackles, 25 and 6, 46 stops. He had 2 pass breakups, and he's a big old boy to be playing linebacker back there. I think he's going to be another one to reckon with. That was my third one. We had was
Henry 2-0.
Yeah.
Linebacker out of Alabama.
202.
94 total tackles, 2.5 sacks. Oh, well, Overshown. Can you see him being at 51?
Possibly. Again, it depends. Those first couple picks will be, those 2 defensive guys, and then also the quarterbacks, possibly 4 quarterbacks in the first round. So there's a very good chance that he'll be there at 51.
And I thought this was interesting. This choice right here, very good linebacker, 6'2", 228, smaller than Overshown, but a very smart, instinctive linebacker, man. Let's talk about this guy right now. I think he'll probably be at 51, but how does he fit Miami's defense, and what do you like about him?
I felt like he's just the all-around, linebacker that you're looking for, as far as like being able to cover running backs out of the backfield, being able to come up on the edge, make plays, whether it be straight from the linebacker spot or coming off the edge. He's quick, able to get to the quarterback when needed. Dude, again, like the last 3 or the last 2, he's a baller. That's why he's at Alabama. He made some plays.
What is a Concrete says Henry is a beast too. He looks like Tua. Is that a turnoff? If he looks like Tua, is that turning some people off? I wonder.
That sounds nice.
Let's move on to Noah Sewell. He's the younger brother of Penei Sewell, offensive tackle in Detroit. This guy, again, 6'2", 253, 55 total tackles, 1.5 sack, 1 interception, no fumbles, recoveries, downhill linebacker, over 250 pounds, great size. You have him at number 4. Why?
Well, he and 2020, I feel are like 3A and 3B. Like I feel like they're real close. Same reason. I mean, he's good in coverage. Comes downhill, plays the run well, able to make open field tackles. My far the guy I have far head over heels above everybody else was Trenton Simpson, and then 2, 3, and 4 kind of tight. And then my 5th, the guy I had at 5 is actually my favorite.
Yep.
Favorite linebacker, Jack Campbell, Captain Jack Campbell from Iowa. When I put his tape on, watching it, he's always making plays on the bottom of the pile. Whenever there's a turnover, he's around the ball, whether he's causing the interception, whether he's causing the fumble, whether he's recovering the fumble. He like we were talking about Zach Thomas, like he reminds me of a Zach Thomas type player. But he's going to have to put on a little bit more weight. But he got me excited when I started watching his film, flying all over the place.
Look at those numbers. I mean, 125 total tackles, a sack, a fumble, 2 interceptions, 6'5", 246, could gain about 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Smart linebacker, probably has the highest ceiling in my opinion. I love, it's easy to say Zach Thomas, but I don't think it's a bad comparison in regards of like, that's kind of attractive to Dolphin fans, but he's that smart. I mean, he knows where the ball is. He's very aware of where the ball is going to be, and if the running back has it or the quarterback. And I always see when I was watching him, his eyes are always knows exactly where the ball is, whether he's in on the play or not. He's following the ball. 2 other guys there. We got this is our top 5 list from Michael, but the other guy is from Washington State, Diane Hanley. 6'2", 232, 106 total tackles, 4 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, an interception. He's having himself a Senior Bowl week, a great week. And then Cam Jones out of Indiana, 6'3", 227, 54 total tackles, a sack, a fumble, no interceptions. So, Evan, you're listening to these guys.
I'm good with all of them, but I'm surprised you didn't name who Chris Greer is probably going to go draft.
Oh, who's that?
Tommy Eichenberg, because he loves Liam. He's probably going to go draft Tommy Eichenberg.
No, I don't think
if they keep Liam just to appease Liam, they're going to say, "Hey, Liam, you want to play with your brother?"
Chalk Van Strawman, that's another good one. I like his build. 6'5", where we talk about like maybe another 10 pounds of muscle, but Bill Romanowski, I love that. That is a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
The difference between, because you know what's interesting about Tommy Eichenberg? He's actually athletic, unlike his brother.
Eichenberg's pretty good. I like Eichenberg.
He doesn't have a lot of experience as a starter, but he's a very athletic linebacker.
No more Eichenbergs, Concrete says.
But wouldn't that be hilarious? That would be such a Chris Greer thing to do, right?
Yes.
Another development guy, because he'll be behind center and he'll be a backup guard next year. I just thought it's just ironic that he's drafted. He could fall to where the Dolphins are picking, so you never know.
You never know. So you're okay. So let's talk.
But like I said, for me at a linebacker, I'm okay with our linebackers, except for are we going to keep Van Ginkel or are we going to keep? I would keep Ingram. What am I okay with? I think Baker's going to walk. I think Tyndall will grow into the role in the new scheme. I don't mind drafting a linebacker. For me, in the second round, if a running back is dropped, that's where I'm going. But
we're going to get to running back. I know it's a very popular topic. We will talk about running back.
No.
Everybody.
My point is the one area that we've all been talking about for years that they're missing on defense is a thumper.
Yeah.
And if there's and I'm saying if this was 2019, go draft your linebacker, go draft your stud linebacker. For Vic Fangio, for Mike McDaniel, with the so-called window we're talking about, you want to go draft a linebacker? Great. But that's not who your starting inside linebacker is going to be. Your starting inside linebacker better be one of the top free agents, because that's what you need in that defense. You need a guy who's going to grab that scheme right away. Vic Fangio is not going to have to develop, because one thing we've realized, and you know this from being when he was in Denver, the young players didn't necessarily connect well with Vic Fangio. That would be Mike McDaniel's job. But one of the main leaders of your defense is your inside linebacker, and unfortunately, our inside linebacker can't do anything in coverage. So you need a stud linebacker in free agency. I don't mind going to draft one, but he would not be my first pick unless one of the guys in the literally gets dropped in the first round and he's falling to us at 51. Fine, but if it's not someone who's falling that we all expected to go in the first round, no, I'd rather get my stud linebacker would be a free agent.
Get an unbiased opinion. First off, let me welcome everybody for tuning in. You're watching the Dolphins Draft Talk show, and of course on the clock, which will be in the next 4 minutes. You're watching the Dolphins Draft Talk show. Smash that like and subscribe button. And as my friend Steve Malloy would say, the great Steve Malloy of Real Talk Fids Talk, like, subscribe, share with your cousin, share with your mother, share with your brother, share with your neighbor. Share with everybody. This show, great
sharing is caring.
Every week, Friday, we talk the draft, and we got great shows throughout the week, of course. And then, of course, one of the better shows on our network, usually on Thursday nights, is Huddle Up and Wait. So let's welcome Huddle Up and Wait. More waiting
than huddle.
Yeah. Oh, shots fired early. Let's welcome host of Huddle Up and Wait, Dave Steger. What's up, Dave?
Dave!
What's going on, fellas? And Evan.
Hi, beautiful.
I heard your little comment.
What?
Yeah.
I was in the waiting room the whole time, sir.
I know you're there. By the way, I know the waiting is not you. I know you're always huddling. We know who's the one who's waiting.
God, don't take shots at my Air Force buddy. Come on. Don't do that.
I gave him props last week.
Hey, so Dave.
Yeah. What's up?
We know how much of a Dolphin fan you are, a Packer man. But
I'm leaving the show.
Yeah, you're gone. Linebackers. We're talking linebackers for the Dolphins. That's our team need topic for today. For Michael, his top 5. I don't know if you were able to catch that or not, but he has Trenton Simpson, number 1, Overshown out of Texas, number 2, Henry 2020 from Alabama, Noah Sewell out of Oregon, and then Jack Campbell, number 5. How does that list sit with you? And is there anybody that he's missing?
I like Campbell higher. I just think he's got the range. He's physical. He's nasty. He reminds me of like Luke Kuechly in a bigger frame. Not saying the skill set, but I'm talking about just the physicality of him, because Kuechly would hit you like a freight train. Doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair, a car on the train tracks, he'd hit you. It didn't matter. Jack Campbell reminds me of that, and he just has that nasty attitude. But there's one guy that's been showing out at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, I'm trying to pronounce his name.
Henley out of Washington
Diane
State.
Henley.
I just talked about him.
Tearing it up. Yeah, I wasn't there for that. My bad.
Go talk about him though. Let's hear about him.
I mean,
what's he doing?
He is his coverage ability has been showing out big time in the Senior Bowl. He's been able to undercut routes. He's staying step for step out with tight ends and running backs. And Tyjae Spears, the running back that's been tearing up the Senior Bowl, has been the one guy who cannot complete a pass, and it's against Diane Henley. It's the one guy he could not complete a pass against in coverage. And Henley was overlooked on a lot of boards because of Washington State. And this is what this purpose of Senior Bowl is, to get guys like him that time, that energy and space to be seen by the GMs and scouts. And I that's my guy. I love Diane Henley. But Jack Campbell's, if you're going to pick one off that list, that's my guy. I love Jack Campbell.
I like Jack Campbell a lot. He's the one that stuck out to me the most when I was watching his stuff. I mean, I just all over the place. And Luke Kuechly is another one. Somebody in the comments had Bill Wermanowski, and I was like, your eyes light up. Guys, as you see, the logo has changed. We have now switched to On the Clock. That's NFL Draft Talk. That's Dave Steger of Huddle Up and Wait. Pull this up with Brett Lagasse and Huddle Up and Wait. You got Michael Vogel here with me. And of course, the one and only Evan Posner. As we're on the clock, let's go ahead to the first topic. We're talking, let's go with the Texans here. ESPN's Todd McShay says the Texans are looking to trade up from 2. He says, I don't think that Houston will sit at 2. I think they're going to do everything they can to move up. And the Colts are the driving reason. The Colts are done with veteran quarterbacks. Of course, they got Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. They're done with that. Doesn't fit the bill. So, Dave, I'm going to start with you, sir, because it's NFL talking, and we'll go ahead and move along the panel here. Would it be wise for the Texans to trade up just one spot, to trade the ransom for one spot to land a quarterback, and who could be the guy that they're looking at that they would fear that Indianapolis will take if they traded up?
I'm going to say no. To move up one spot, the Bears are going to want the same exact price for what the Colts are going to give up. The Raiders are going to give up all the way, even the Panthers, all the way down. And they're going to ask the same price along the whole thing because they know there's multiple suitors. If I'm Houston, you're at 2. You're guaranteed either Stroud or Young. Stay there.
Yep.
There's no point to do it. Just let DeMeco Ryans go in and do the Mario Williams thing. Pick a defensive player that could change your entire franchise on the defensive side.
And I would have to
that's just
think,
me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would be ridiculous to trade up from 2 to 1 when you have 2 other guys there or 3 guys there that you could grab. I think number 1, I think they might be afraid if Houston trades up to number 1, I have to think if it's because they're afraid Indianapolis is going to trade to 1, it's for Will Levis out of Kentucky. I can't see Indianapolis go. Is there any other quarterback? I mean, I think Levis fits the bill for the Colts.
Yeah, and Houston isn't looking at Levis. They want Stroud or Young. That's kind of been known.
That's what I thought. So what's the point of
likes,
trading up?
So, yeah.
What's the point of trading up? It'd just be
I
bad
don't
management.
I'm just not a Levis guy. I like his intangibles, but I feel like he should have had a
Justin
better
Herbert,
year.
Josh Allen mold, right? That's what they're looking
That's what it is right there.
It's not me.
for. That's what people are looking for now, right?
Well, yeah, but my thing is he should have had a better year this year. He had a good year in 2021. And all of a sudden, 2022, it was a dud. Like Kentucky should have been able to do a lot more with their passing game. And I feel like Levis.
I wouldn't say he fell off. I mean, players have bad years, but he did not have a year that helped him because he had a lot.
It was his accuracy. Year. His accuracy dipped completely, and it just kind of boggles my mind. Was he a one-hit wonder like Zach Wilson was? And then people are still obsessed with his size. Oh, his ceiling could be that. So
yeah. Well, and again, I think Evan's not wrong. I think it's more Josh Allen than it is Justin Herbert. I think teams are looking for the next Josh Allen. That's why Anthony Richardson's getting a lot of praise now, or getting a lot of hype.
Win.
And
poor man's Mike Vick.
You know,
wasn't he injured? Didn't he get injured this year, Levis?
Yeah, he was dinged up, but
I thought he had a couple injuries this year. I could be wrong.
But the thing is he also had, I believe, 2 injuries separately, small, in 2021, and he still played through it at a high level. So that's my issue. Is he's been injured before, he's been able to play through it. I just something's pulling up my heartstrings saying don't do it with Levis. Don't do it.
Okay.
He's not like a Josh Rosen type feeling for the draft. But if I'm going to pick a person for that, it's Anthony Richardson. He's my Josh Rosen of this draft class, meaning it's going to be a bust.
Ooh, damn. Okay. Right there. You heard it first. All right. Evan, do you think Houston should trade up? You think they should stay put?
Yes,
Michael?
Yeah, because they need let someone else go number 1. Let the Raiders, let the Colts, let them all fight for number 1. Either way, you're going to get if they take Young, you still have Stroud or Levis. You have one of 3, you're at number 2. Why would you give up any draft capital? You are also picking at 12, so you have a chance to get.
I can't think Cesario would be that bad. I think that's just a bad move.
Oh yeah, no.
You're setting up more.
Honestly, but I don't think they're ready to do that. I don't think, and if DeMeco, because they're going to leave the pick up to DeMeco Ryans and what he wanted as his first pick, and being a defensive coordinator, he might go after Jalen Carter. He might wait till 12 to get the quarterback that he wants. Because think about it, he's coming from a system.
Or wait till next year, go get Caleb Williams or Drake.
No, but that's also my point. Also, where did he just come from?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. You can interrupt me all you want. You're a beautiful man.
Only
Bobby can interrupt me. I'm just kidding.
He's God.
I'm just kidding. No, what I was saying is that for look where D'Amico Ryan just came from. He came from where there was Jimmy G, there was Trey Lance. He never had a sustainable quarterback, and look what his defense did. He saw that the reason why they got to where they were was the defense. So if I'm at picking number 2, unless you're dead set the quarterback that you want, go get your stud defender like Dave just said. And at 12, you might still be able to get Stroud or Levis. You don't know, or Young. They may fall a little bit, and if not, you might go get someone in the second round that is very capable, and then you try again next year. Look who's leading the Super Bowl. No one wanted Jalen Hurts. He kept on falling. You might find someone. You never know. So all I'm saying for me, don't risk going 2-1. Like that's a waste of time. If you were below the top 5, I'd be concerned.
Who did that last time? Was it the Bears for Trubisky?
Yeah.
The Bears for
and who they miss out on? Who they missed out on? Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson at the time was a national championship winning quarterback.
Yeah.
The law aside, from what his NFL career was before that, it still was much better than Mitch Trubisky. So they missed out on 2 quarterbacks. I mean, even Jamal Adams, when he was with the Jets, still had a better career up to that point. So they missed out on a ton for a lot of draft compensation moved for a guy that had, I think, less than 10 starts or 9 starts in one season and didn't even play a full season in college.
Very often what we're learning is getting your stud quarterback at number 1 every year. There's no guarantee. The last 20 years, you can't even name on one hand the number 1 quarterback picked in the draft who's led to anything. Who wants Baker Mayfield? Who wants Kyler Murray? Like the last triple top pick, it's outside of Joe Burrow before that.
Warzone wants Kyler Murry.
Who?
Warzone.
Who?
Warzone.
Call of
Warzone.
Duty. Yeah. I like that.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that just the stud quarterbacks they end up getting are not usually picked number 1 unless they're like no doubters. Then you're reaching. Taking Levis, there's no guarantee. Taking Bryce Young, there's no guarantee. Taking Stroud, there's no guarantee. This is not Joe Burrow. This is not Peyton Manning. This is not. You're not going after that kind of QB at number 1. There's no guarantee.
Bryce Young did have the single season better than Burrow's record. I believe, what was it, 2 seasons or 1 season after Burrow set it for touchdowns, completion percentage, everything. So he did set that. There is a Bryce Young.
There is a Bryce Young.
Quarterback that everyone's forgetting about that the Texans could grab, didn't mean to interrupt, Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker was a really good quarterback in college.
Was he ready to play or is he injured?
They could set the year on him and let Davis Mills.
Right.
And then you have Hendon Hooker.
Spin him out. Yeah.
My favorite quarterback in the draft.
Hooker. Yeah,
my favorite chop.
Yeah.
Davis. Davis Mills is my favorite chopping mall in Florida. I just wanted to make that clear.
I think they stay. I think they stay at 2, and they end up going Bryce Young at quarterback.
Yeah.
I think that would be the right.
But I'd go get Jalen Carter. Or I wouldn't even pick a quarterback at 2.
I've tried to trade down.
The Texans are built. D'Amico Ryan is a defensive up and comer. Why are you going to try to figure out the offensive side of the ball right away? Go get your stud defender.
Well, there's also 3 other pillars that have to fall before the draft. It's free agencies happening, trades are happening. Where does Rodgers go? Does he stay in Green Bay? Does he go to New York? Does he go to the Raiders, which takes them out of the trade?
Go San Francisco. He told us on the golf course.
San Francisco. Anyways, then you got Jimmy Garoppolo. Where's he going to land? That could fill a spot.
Carolina.
Miami.
Yeah, there's plenty of spots.
He's going to Carolina. Watch this.
Derek Carr. There's plenty of spots for these quarterbacks to fill. And guess what? It's the fact that also the Bears could wait too late to try and pick a trade partner. And then these spots on other teams get filled. What if Indianapolis does go with a Derek Carr? What if they do go with a Jimmy Garoppolo? And next thing you know, these teams don't really need to press for a quarterback right now. Could take Hendon Hooker in the second round. And that way they got their young QB. The Bears could get screwed. I mean, you never know. These situations.
I'm very intrigued to see what happens with Hooker in the draft. He's out, and I know people are going to be like, "Oh, but he's out for the year." Do you know he has a whole career left? Do you know what he did at Tennessee? Do you know the growth he had last season before he got hurt? That somebody's gonna get that guy in the second round, maybe third, if teams get weary of the injury, and they're going to hit on something there because you don't have to rush him. You don't have to rush him in, and you're not going to have to pay him a lot of money. You know, it's I don't know, dude. I think teams could be smart. That's why for me, even at Houston, I'd say we're talking about trading up. If I'm Houston, I'm looking at trading down and getting a buttload of picks. And,
Hey, Dave, if Hendon Hooker's sitting there
damage.
at your first round, would you go get him?
What, for 15?
Where would you go if he's available for you in the first or second round? Would you take him?
Are you saying he's a GM or Packers?
Packers.
I would wait till the second because we're at 45.
And they got Jordan Love. I mean, not saying that Jordan
That's
Love
my
is.
point.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not
just
saying that Jordan
even with
Love is
Jordan
not
Love,
going
would
to
you
be,
go grab
it's not
Hooker
going to be
as an
successful.
option?
What
If
I'm
he
saying
fell
is
to the
you want
third,
to see what
yes.
you have in him. Yeah, see, that's a smart move because then you're like, oh, we don't have to rush anything. You want to see
And-
what you have in Jordan Love and then make a decision next season. You know,
That's what happened with
I agree
Wentz
with you.
and Hurts. You had Wentz already. And Wentz was the guy that supposedly they were letting go of Peterson. The next thing you know, Hurts came in, story over. So if you have that safety net as other QB, you could do that if it pertains. But I feel like there's going to be some first round talent that
Yes, they
falls
do,
down the
John.
board in the second round. So
2 first round picks for Houston this year, I
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah, it says 2 and
So,
12. They have 2
let's-
and 12. They have 2 and 12.
So let's move on. I wish Wingate was in the comments there because we're going to talk about the Cowboys. And I actually have one topic.
we don't
We're
need Josh here.
Why?
I know.
We don't need him for
So-
that to make fun of him.
So
Thoughts
the
and prayers
Cow-
with you too, buddy, though,
Mel
for
Kiper-
what's going on.
always, God bless. Mel Kiper in his latest mock draft has the Cowboys drafting Bijan Robinson out of Texas for the Cowboys.
Bye-bye, Tony Pollard.
Dallas was 8th in the league in rushing. They had 2,298 yards with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Michael, since you've been so patient, sitting there, you got to say what you need to do. But should they move on from the both of them or one of them and take Robinson? Would that be a smart move?
No, I don't think so. You got 2 stud running backs. I don't. That to me, there's too much other needs. You know, I feel like they still have. You know, they don't have a stud wide receiver core. You could grab a wide receiver, and you can always get stuff on the back end. You know, I don't think. To me, it would be a wasted pick. But I mean, it's Jerry Jones on his yacht. He can do. It wouldn't surprise me that if he would end up taking him there. But I don't think the Cowboys need that at all.
And I could tell from your guys' reactions, your answers already. So I'm going to move on and do another Cowboys thing that I saw pop up here, and I want to talk about it. Jerry Jones, as Michael has stated, brought him up, has indicated that he might be looking at Dak's successor. And he came away from the Senior Bowl impressed with a certain quarterback, Max Duggan. Why did I forget his damn school? But Max Duggan.
I
there-
wonder why. I wonder where he goes to school.
Would Jerry? Yeah, I know. That's the bad part, right? I'm losing. I did see his school. I just messed it up here. I don't know what the heck his school is. But
TCU, he was in the
I don't know what
Navy,
you
bro.
think about Max
Dum-dum.
Duggan. So do you
TCU.
think?
He's
What?
small.
Bobby, I
He goes
think
to
you're
TCU,
lagging, dude.
That's
I
why I
can't-
made the joke.
Wait. When people are talking over each other to me, I can't hear you both. One has to go at a time. Come on, guys.
We're thinking the same thing.
Dave.
I think you're lagging a little bit, buddy,
You're
because
lying.
you're like behind us whenever we're talking.
Okay. Talk about Max Duggan and the Cowboys.
It's not a good fit. That's horrible. That's why Jerry Jones shouldn't open this trap. That's why.
But it's Jerry Jones. It's Jerry
But-
Jones, and that's
Well,
what he'll do.
I'm going to start off with the Cowboys won't win another Super Bowl until Jerry Jones dies. It's literally the Al Davis thing for
Yeah.
the Raiders. It just is what it is. Bad owners shouldn't be involved with being a GM and playing in the football operations room. It doesn't work. Jim Irsay, Jerry Jones, Dan Schneider, Ross. Anyways,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
No,
I really agree
yeah.
with you.
I just think owners shouldn't be involved in that. They're supposed to grow the image of the team, not make draft picks. That's
Jeffrey
just what I
Lurie.
think. And I
Jeffrey
think Jerry
Lurie is the
Jones.
perfect owner for that.
Well, Lurie is also. I mean, yeah, because he gives his GMs enough leash where they can go and
Roseman's
do what they
phenomenal.
want. But Lurie's not toxic. That's the promise or the problem. That's not the issue. Jerry's toxic.
Yeah.
Taking Max Duggan, I don't see it. There's other free agent QBs out there that I feel like they can go get, and also there's a big hurdle they have to overcome. This is going to be Mike McCarthy's offense, so there's no more Kellen Moore heavy run game involved. This is a West Coast offense hybrid, and it's not going to be a lot of running. It's going to be a lot of running backs that can catch. It's going to be a lot of wide receivers, but it's also limited to like a 60-play playbook. So I don't see Max Duggan doing that because running QBs in that type of offense doesn't work.
No, they need their Marco. They need another wide receiver there. If they're going to go pick them there, they need our wide receiver or go defense.
I think they need a linebacker. Micah Parsons plays edge now. They do not need to go near that. They need to fix their inside linebacker core, their inside defensive line. Their run defense has been horrible since like 1997. Yeah, I think the Cowboys need to go either defense, offensive line.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to go for a wide receiver. You know it.
They're going to go for like a long snapper because it's Jerry Jones.
Is our host back? Or is he...
So, am I gone? Have I been gone?
No, you're still here. You're lagging.
You were lagging.
Okay. How was that to say? Everybody's moving fine to me, but no, Dave. So let's go ahead. We talked Dallas, but let's talk the Senior Bowl because that's where Jerry is, and that's where he watched Max Duggan have a good day, and that's why I guess he got his little eyes beaded and go, oh well, maybe I could get myself a quarterback. But let's talk about some of the guys who've made a name for themselves, which every year somebody does. But there's a handful of guys that are doing a great job this week and really making a name and rising up draft boards. Why don't you fill us in on some news from the Senior Bowl this week?
Some wide receivers have been stepping up big time. Speaking of wide receivers, because of Dallas, but this is a very wide receiver deep draft, and this isn't first round. This is second all the way to the fifth. There is some meaty wide receivers that just you have plenty of options to pick from. If you have multiple picks in the second, the third, fourth, fifth, you're going to have options. Guys like Dontavian Wicks showing out. Guys like Xavier Hutchinson showing out. I mean, there's one guy I was kind of disappointed in is a faller, Rashay Rice. I was really hyped up about him, but on day 2, 3, he was kind of, when I was watching it live and they were showing his routes, he was having trouble getting away from contact. He's a bigger receiver, so that shouldn't be a problem for him. But these DBs were coming in and manning him up, and he was having a problem getting away from them. So guys like those, Xavier Hutchinson, Dontavian Wicks, you can get them on day 2s, day 3s, and they're quality receivers. I just feel like a lot of these wide receivers are being overlooked in this Senior Bowl, and because there's so many of them that are being good. So, and also on defense, you got, I think it was Darius Rush is his name, the DB out of South Carolina, and then you also got Jamie Robinson from Florida State, kind of like an undersized safety, but he's in the backfield all the time. He's in that front box causing problems, dropping into coverage. Yeah, I like him too. He had a good day 3. Those are the
Cody Mock.
Huh?
Cody Mock, the offensive tackle from North Dakota State.
Yep. Oh, the guy that fell over for a defensive lineman out of Wisconsin, Keanu Benton, has been tearing it up. Day 1, day 2, day 3. He's only about 280 pounds, but the guy plays with such force and upper body strength and such leverage. He is throwing guys that are 330, 340 pounds at offensive line and just tossing them aside. So keep a name out for that is you got Keanu Benton, also another defensive lineman. I don't know if he was invited to the Senior Bowl, was Colby Wooden out of Auburn, I believe. And then you've got the offensive lineman on North Dakota State, Cody Mauch. Holy cannoli.
He looks like he's your cousin.
Mock.
I think it's Mock.
Oh, because it's Mauch. So I don't know if okay.
Are you guys related, Dave? Are you guys related?
Yeah, are you related?
I'm not a ginger and I have a soul. No, so yeah, Mauch, yeah, me and him were talking about the same guy apparently.
Yeah.
The guy looks like a hockey player. 2 front teeth knocked out. He is mean. He's aggressive. He doesn't have a lot of weight in the back end of his pants, but guess what? The guy throws people down. He moves people in the run game. He is a guy you want on your line. It does not matter. I think he's going to be a stud. And then there's DeJuan Jones, who is just an absolute, literally the version of the mountain.
Yep,
was 6'8", 340 pounds. He has a reach of 89.5 inches.
Yep.
The guy is an albatross. Yeah, so literally if you're going to come around him with a speed rush, he can just snatch you and put you on the ground. If you try to come up with leverage, he has the reach to put you down, and you ain't going to be getting back up. Like, it's a guy you want as a swing tackle on either side. Doesn't matter which part, left tackle, right tackle. One
of the most interesting names of the draft, and it stuck out to me with the Senior Bowl, who's having a good Senior Bowl, but I don't know if you or Michael have paid attention, but Jake Bobo, wide receiver. What do you think about that guy?
he has some decent routes that he's shown at Senior Bowl, but at the same time, when a more physical DB does get his hands on him, if he's not going out there making his initial move and getting free, he gets tangled up a little bit. That's my only issue with him.
Darnell
like
White out of Tennessee. That's Jack Van Straw brought up. That's another good one. Right tackle for Tennessee. You seen anything from him that you like or dislike?
No, I think he's going to be a solid right tackle. My issue is he tends to doesn't get his right leg kicked out enough in time, and I've seen a couple speed rushers go by him a little bit.
Okay, Michael, anything? Any response to what Dave's talking about? Any guys that stick out to you, baby? If you've been following the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, my biggest thing obviously is, I'm keyed into the O line. So
yep.
I've been following Cody Mock and then Isaiah Foskey for Notre Dame that dude comes hard. And I'm obviously a huge Notre Dame fan, and that dude did everything for Notre Dame this year. He blocked 3 or 4 different punts this year for Notre Dame, and then obviously played, was nice coming off the edge too. And from my understanding, he's having a decent Senior Bowl as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
You say Notre Dame. You like Notre Dame. You're a Dolphins fan. One of the team needs is guard, offensive tackle. Jarrett Patterson out of Notre Dame. What do you think about that guy?
I like Patterson. I think he played center some for Notre Dame. He'll probably play some guard. But a big Eichenberg fan, and that hasn't turned out as well as I would have hoped. But
true.
Again, I think a lot of this just comes down to the team that picks him and who the O-line coach is, and that I think that has a huge play in it too. Do you have a seasoned O-line coach that can coach him up? Then he'll be fine. But if you have, a rookie or a first year, second year guy that may not know their stuff as well, he may end up struggling.
I got a guy that I want to bring up, see what you think of. Is that John Michael Schmitz out of Minnesota?
Oh yeah. The center. Yeah, he's physical.
Center guard,
yeah, very physical. I like him at center
too. You get him at 51, you can move Connor Williams to left guard, and you kind of help solve that.
Hold 1,000 times.
Yeah, that's right. That's Connor Williams. Tight end, one of the other positions of needs for Miami. Davis Allen out of Clemson. He's been doing really well. He's a reliable blocker. You guys have anything on that guy?
What was the name again? I'm sorry.
You're all right. He's out of Clemson. Davis Allen.
I felt he was underutilized in Clemson's offense because of the rotating door of the QB situation, because Ulegele favored tight ends, and then the new guy came in, just kind of disappeared. Ulegele was the quarterback that kind of favored tight ends, and that's when he started showing up. But then I can never remember the new quarterback's name at Clemson. It forgets a blank in my head if anyone remembers it. But he just seems to I don't know. He seems to favor the wide receivers and running backs a little bit more. Doesn't favor the tight end. But if you're looking at a tight end that you want to keep an eye out for, Luke Musgrave.
Yeah.
Guy's 255 pounds and is out there running by safeties and DBs like it's nothing. Like Luke Musgrave is a guy you're going to want, and he's a hell of a tight end. I'm beginning to want the Packers to pass on Mayer and Kincaid and all these other guys, because Musgrave has been jumping up some boards here the last couple of days.
Hey, this draft is deep at tight end. There are some hidden gems that you don't have to really reach for one, and I think that's going to help teams like the Packers or teams like the Dolphins that And
you guys are re-signing Gesicki?
No, that dude, he's going somewhere else. I don't know. He doesn't fit. Evan, you're hearing some of these names. Any of these guys as a Dolphin fan, in regards to position or anything you hear from Michael or Dave that you go, man, hopefully the Dolphins could look at this guy.
Not necessarily. Like for me, any stud, like I said, any stud at linebacker, any stud on safety or offensive line, I'm open to. Like for me, I'm a Canadian. If you put Cody Mock on my offensive line, I'd be a very happy camper. I can promise you that. I'm a hockey fan, so that wouldn't bother me much.
There
Well, I
you go.
must say I am proud of the fact that my one thing that I don't know if you guys know, one guy who stood out at the Senior Bowl, because I've been following it a little bit because I'm a proud Canadian, is this guy from Illinois, Chase Brown, who actually was nominated by the Linebackers as the top running back at the Senior Bowl. So that was like another little chip on our shoulder as a token Canadian.
Chase Brown, he's sticking out. I know somebody brought him up. I think Joe Shad for a possible Dolphins pick.
I'd take him.
Yeah, there's a few good backs in this draft that oh gosh, what is it? God, I hate that I can't remember the name now. See, I have issues with that.
Evan Hall, he's another one for Northwestern.
Let's see here. Let me pull this up for a second.
Evan Hall, another one that's been a good one. Tajay Spears is the one that's been tearing up the entire Senior Bowl week.
D. Spears. Let me see here. I'm gonna pull up this running back, and I want to see what you guys think about him.
Chase Brown also has a brother named Sidney Brown, who's a defensive.
Keegan Mitchell's another one.
Brown's a stud. I love.
Yeah, their brother. Imagine taking both.
Yeah,
I would take them. I would take them on both sides of the ball.
I like Sidney.
Yeah, he's very, very good.
Who'd you say, Bobby?
Sidney Brown's physical. He's physical.
I said one of them was Keegan Mitchell. I was asking you, running back. What do you guys thought about him? Now I'll pull up the other guy. Lost his mind. Let's see here. Condre Miller out of TCU. That's the other one. Eastern Carolina's Keaton Mitchell, and then Rashawn Johnson out of Texas. So let's start off first with Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell out of East Carolina. Dave, you know anything about this kid? What do you think about him as a back?
Yeah, shifty. He's able to catch the pass real well, and his pass blocking was showing out against the defensive ends, trying to come up and knock them on their butt. That's one of the things that he stood his ground on, was the pass blocking big time. So if there's a guy you want in there, it's definitely, he sounds like a third round back you want to look at.
And then of course, Condre Miller, a lot of touchdowns, power. Michael, you know anything on this kid? I mean, we're going to talk running backs in a couple episodes here as we go through the team needs, but these are the guys that have been sticking out to me because I like looking at these later round picks. And I'm not talking, these are like third round, like Dave said, third round, mid round picks, second round possibly. And I want to talk about Rashawn Johnson out of Texas, Robinson's backup, who didn't really get a lot of love, but might be one of the better backs in this draft.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of work yet on running backs yet.
That's perfectly fine. Dave, you know anything about these two guys that I brought up?
Rashawn, he is a guy that is God, what's his name? The Texans running back that got taken from Florida this year.
Oh,
what's his name? Number 31, Dameon Pierce. He is a version of Dameon Pierce.
Okay.
He was used in a chunk type play behind Bijan Robinson, but if he gets the time and the snaps, I think he can be a Dameon Pierce type running back. I think he can be that.
I like that. All right, let's pull this up here.
Sorry, I drew a blank on that. I'm like,
no.
Pierce was one of my favorite running backs last
year.
year.
It happens.
No, I threw it out there. I mean, I want to spend time on the running backs, but I thought, we talked about it a little bit, so I definitely wanted to talk.
Doesn't.
I know. That's why I'm waiting on talking about running backs, because it's like.
Well, I was gonna go back this weekend, and I'm sure it'll be all over NFL Network all weekend, the replay of all these guys. So I was gonna watch some of that tape and get some of these other positions that we still need to talk about.
Perfect. Well, guys, let me just tell everybody, thank the viewers, everyone tuning in, Charles, John, Steve, Concrete, Papa Hog, Chalk Van Straw, everyone tuning in. You're watching the On the Clock Draft Show. I thought it was very cool. It reminds me of Count Dracula. What's it, Count Chocula?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Every time I think of Count Dracula. But but you're watching On the Clock, the Dolphins Draft Show. Smash that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you. We're here every Friday night. Same crew. Dave Stager, Evan Posner, Michael Vogel, myself. In the house. We're going to go position by position in regard to the first half hour is always Dolphins. Second half hour is NFL. And then as we're after the Super Bowl, we're going to do Dave, you want to tell them what we're going to do? You say it better than I do when you brought it up in regards of four picks per person.
Oh, so yeah, with us four being on here, I talked to Bobby about this and was running by y'all doing a live mock draft. Each of us have 8 teams,
Yeah.
being able to go in and be on the fly. Say if someone does trade down to say if I have the Colts and you have the Bears, Michael, and we agree on a trade, boom, we'll send the compensation, whatever, and then basically these two guys might have 2 and 3. So that way they have to adjust their picks. So it's just like being a GM, but just in a live box situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love that.
So yeah, we're gonna have fun, guys. So that's Dave Stager, that's Evan Poster, that's Michael Vogel. I'm Bobby Finstock. Smash the like and subscribe button. And as always, if you're a Dolphins fan, more importantly, fins up. We'll see you guys next Friday night. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow. 12
Sideways, come on, Stager.
12 Eastern tomorrow. We got Fins Talk today with Fish Tank Hank and myself. We'll see you guys then. Like, subscribe, fins up. Or, well, no, fins up only. I'm not going to go with Dave.
O-line pride, baby. O-line pride.
There you go.